Seems to me you have a real gift of curiosity. I mean, it's a big gift. I mean, you're an intensely curious person.
Well, I've always been that way, but I've been very fortunate that I've had something like this that allowed me to feed it.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, the vast majority of time on my phone, I just pursue curiosities. I really am mostly off social media. Yeah. I watch interesting YouTube videos. Like I went down a black hole rabbit hole last night. Oh my God. You want to really break your brain? There's a video of Brian Cox where he's talking about this black hole that they found that's bigger than our entire solar system.
Wow.
The event horizon extends far beyond Pluto.
That is mind-blowing.
Yeah. When he was describing, he said, we don't understand why it exists. We don't understand how it could have formed so early in the universe, but yet there it is.
How do they measure it? How do they know how big it is?
No idea. I don't know. I'm assuming there's a lot of revelations that have come out since the implementation of the James Webb Telescope.
Yeah.
And
those images are incredible.
Insane.
Yeah.
Insane. And this is one that's causing this very interesting new theory or perspective on the age of the universe. So there's some galaxies that they found that shouldn't have formed.
Yeah, I read about this, that it's throwing all their assumptions about the age of the universe up for grabs.
Which makes sense, because the further you can look back, the more you're going to be able to see. The assumption that the universe was 13.7 billion years old was essentially based on how far we could look back. Yeah. And then, the analysis of the radio waves that are coming from the supposed explosion. And then you've got guys like Sir Roger Penrose who say, no, this is a constant cycle. It's not one birth of the universe. It's boom, smash, boom, smash forever.
It's an accordion.
And it's always happened, which is the ultimate mindfuck.
Well, the interesting thing about astronomy, actually astronomy and consciousness studies have the same problem, which is you can't get out of consciousness to study it from a distance, right? Every tool you have to study consciousness is a product of consciousness, including science. The scientific enterprise is a manifestation of human consciousness. The problems you decide to study, the tools you have to do it with, the scale at which you're working, it's all like a product of consciousness. Astronomy, too, is trying to understand something it can't get outside of, right? I mean, because its subject is everything that there is, the universe. So you can do interesting things from inside using telescopes, and you can figure out how old things are and rates of expansion and all this kind of stuff. But you can never get that godlike perspective that we have with other scientific problems. And this is, I think, part of the reason we haven't solved the consciousness problem, that we can't get outside. We're in a labyrinth, and everything we know is consciousness. I mean, which is a very weird idea. I remember asking Christoph Koch, the scientist I mentioned earlier, I said, well, what would the world be like without any consciousness? And that is a trippy thought, because everything we perceive is, the scale of things. Like we operate at this scale, right? We're like 5 or 6 feet tall. We have bodies like this. But there's another world going on microscopically, and there's another world going on macroscopically. So if there's no consciousness, what's the proper scale? There isn't any. And when I asked him this question, he said, particles and waves. That's all there is. There'd be nothing but particles and waves. There might not even be space-time. That may be a product of consciousness also. So that was kind of mind-blowing to learn.
That's the weirdest perspective, is that consciousness is a part of reality, that it is how reality is formed, and that without consciousness and the perceiving of all this stuff, it doesn't exist.
Something exists, but it's not. It has no shape. It has no scale. It has no
because consciousness
edges.
is what's perceiving light, and we're perceiving colors, and
it's constructing.
But it really
reality.
is just particles.
Yeah, and waves.
And waves and particles and atoms and subatomic particles, and when you get into the weirder stuff.
And we give it order.
Right.
I know, which it's just a mind-blowing idea.
Well,
and
it really is a game changer, because if you think about it that way, you go, okay, well, what is all this solid stuff?
Yeah.
What is this? Like, does this even really exist, or does it only exist?
This table, there's a famous Arthur Eddington was a physicist early in the 20th century, and he said the real table is mostly space, and only in our consciousness and at our scale is it solid, and but at the scale of particle physics, which is equally legitimate scale, it's just wide open space with these waves and particles, but a lot of emptiness. That was kind of mind-blowing too. So,
but it's just such an abstract concept for a person in their car right now listening on the way to work. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Maybe they want to pull over.
All this stuff is real.
Yeah.
It is, sort of, but only if you're conscious.
Well, you could think of consciousness as the way the universe
experiences itself.
Yeah. And,
well, that's what really weird. Like, what if the universe is consciousness?
Yeah. I mean, that's another way to look at it. Maybe consciousness is part of the universe. But it's not giving it the order that we give it. We see at a certain spectrum of light. There's, bees see at another spectrum of light. We are the world we behold, the world that appears to us is the world that our senses allow us to see.